Hey guys, Peter here to do an EP review. Today I'm here to tell you all about the latest from Khemmis, Doomed Heavy Metal, out April 17th on Nuclear Blast. This EP has 6 tracks, 38 minutes in length, and this is the band's second EP. Let's break it down, the EP, and let me give you an idea of the structure before I go into every single song on it to give you an overall feel for what to expect. I really like how they constructed this release. From the 6 songs, you have to break it down into 2 camps. The first camp is 2 covers. They did Rainbow in the Dark, a Dio cover, and they did A Conversation with the Dead, a Lloyd Chandler cover, and then they included Empty Throne, which is a brand new original Khemmis song. So that's the first half of the EP, if you will. The second half has 3 live songs: Bloodletting, 3 Gates, and the Bereaved. 3 songs that are recorded live, and 3 songs that, in my opinion, they did a very intelligent thing by taking each one of those songs from each one of their records. They could have easily gone back into Desolation and picked 3 songs from their latest album that came out 2 years ago and put those live songs there on the EP. I really applaud them by having the foresight to not do that and really take one song from each single album, almost representing their history, their path in a live setting. So for fans of the band that have never had an opportunity to see them live, this EP is a really good opportunity to get a feel for how this band sounds in a live setting, and also get a little bit of a feel for their history from the first album to their latest album. So I really like the overall structure. I really like the overall feel, the overall complexity that this EP has to offer. Really dynamic. It really goes in different directions. It gives you different looks as far as what the band can do, and it also gives you a taste of how they sound live. Now, going into the songs, starting off with Rainbow in the Dark, Dio cover, I really like covers, and I really like this cover. I like the fact that they didn't take too much away from the original. They kept the shell, a little bit of the interior, and then they just added their own sound, their own DNA into it, making the song feel almost like a Khemmis song, but not a complete departure from the original. This is a very hard cover to do, because it's a classic Dio song, so you're almost asking for trouble when you go down this path. But I really feel like they delivered a great cover, really interesting approach, really interesting dynamic, and to me, that was done by not changing too much of the original, still keeping a lot of the core of that song intact, and then just adding their own flavor to it. It works extremely well. I'm a huge fan of this song, and this is going to be one of those covers that I'm going to play a lot, because I'm a big fan of covers, and this one is really well done, really well played. Next comes Empty Throne, a very dark, somber track. This is the original track on the EP. I really like the crunchiness of the riffs. It's really one of those trademark sounds, trademark approaches, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Khemmis and their sound. And this song has a lot of that. A lot of moments of melody, a lot coming from the guitars and vocals, but at the same time, very dark, very somber. It has this drag-out feel to it. I love the overall structure. It's a song that doesn't have spikes in it. It doesn't have peaks and valleys. It's very consistent, very mellowed, very stretched out all the way from the beginning to the end. It has this heavy darkness to it, but at the same time you get these blasts of energy and light coming into it, mostly from the guitars. The guitars have the ability to sound dark and chunky, and at the same time come in with a lot of melody, with a lot of light. But I almost feel like the majority of the melody is really coming from the vocal approach, from the vocal style. But it's a song that has just a great lingering effect from the beginning to end. It just feels like this mist rolling in very slowly, taking everything as it moves along. I love the feel of it. It's a trademark Khemmis track, if I've ever seen one. I just love the sound that it has. I love the approach and the darkness. A Conversation with the Dead, a Lloyd Chandler cover. I really like this cover. Another cover that really blew me away. I wasn't really sure where they were going to go with this, but I really like the approach. Really chunky as well. The guitar riffs are very powerful, very dark, very somber, very heavy in the atmosphere that the song has. And if you didn't know the original, you would look at this and you say, this is their original song. That to me is a sign of a great cover, of how you can take an original and create something that really feels like it could belong on any Khemmis album. And like I said, if you're a fan of Khemmis and you've never heard of the original, you would, and I play this for you, you would say, wow, I didn't know they had a brand new song. That is the quality that this cover has to offer, and the quality that it adds to the overall release. Now, the 3 live songs, Bloodletting, which was the opening track on Desolation, then you have 3 Gates that was in Hunted, and last, the Bereaved, which is from Absolution, the last track and the closing track in Absolution, which is also the closing track on this EP. So when you have these 3 live songs, what I can tell you about these songs is that I really like the sound of the recording. At times, it not even feels like it's necessarily a live track. It almost feels like it was a jam session that they recorded in their own studio at home, and they were just jamming, and this was almost like a demo. It has almost more of a demo feel than it does a live recording. And that to me is a lot of quality. And that to me adds quality to the overall release. So I really like that they put these 3 live songs. Like I said before, I like the fact that they picked one song from every single album that they've released up to this point to give the fans a little bit of a history of the band and to give the fans a sense of how their sound is live and how their set list gets played live. So for fans that never had a chance to see the band, to me this EP really, it doesn't check the box because it's not the same as seeing the band live, but it really helps narrow that gap. So I like what they did with these 3 live songs, and I like how the live song starts off with Bloodletting, which was the opening track of Desolation, and then finishing with the Bereaved, which was the closing track on Absolution. It allows the band to come full circle, to really come full circle in a backwards order. So there's an interesting dynamic with the structure and how those songs are put together. Overall, really creative way of approaching an EP release, and being a fan of Khemmis, I could not say anything negative about this EP. I highly recommend you guys picking it up because it's really worth listening to it. You have covers, you have original, you have live songs, you have a little bit of everything. This EP becomes part of the history of the band. It becomes part of what the band is, and if you're a fan of the band, you have to pick it up. Alright guys, this is it. This is Khemmis with Doomed Heavy Metal, out April 17th on Nuclear Blast. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.